like to call to order the Centerville City Schools Board of Education meeting for Monday, June 27th, 2022. Ms. Sauber, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Dahl?
Here.
Mrs. Sternbach? Here. Dr. Rohr?
Here.
Mr. Schreier?
Here.
Megan Sparks?
Here, please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to have a motion to appoint Mr. John Wesney, Superintendent pro tem.
So moved. Second.
Ms. Sauber, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Sternbach? Yes. Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Sorry, guys. Can I please have a motion for the approval of the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Sauber, could you call the roll again?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Sternbach? Yes. Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Public participation. The Board of Education recognizes the value to school governance of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters of community interest. The presiding officer of each board meeting at which public participation is permitted shall administer the following rules as presented in our agenda. When you come to the podium, please state your name, if you are a resident or not, and if you organize, to represent an organization. It looks like we only have one person tonight, Ms. Susan.
Yes, I guess.
Hassel Gessel.
Well, I wasn't going to speak, you just told me to sign in.
It's too late now. You got
How much?
You really want me to start?
We appreciate Ms. Hassel
Sorry.
Gessler being the audience tonight. Okay. Seeing nobody else, you have a chance to do it. Moving on to item number 7, board and administration reports. The first one is legislative, which is me. So Governor Mike DeWine signed into law House Bill 99. The bill establishes the Ohio Mobile Training Team and creates the Ohio School Safety and Crisis Center within the Ohio Department of Public Safety. The bill also requires a person a school board authorizes to have weapons in such a zone to submit an annual criminal record check, complete no more than 24 hours of initial training established under the bill, and complete no more than 8 hours of annual requalification training. Additionally, the bill permits the school board to adopt alternate curriculum, instruction, and training with center approval and allows school boards to require additional training to those authorized. Finally, the bill requires each school district to provide a center of current list of qualified personnel authorized to convey deadly weapons or dangerous ordnance into a school safety zone, and requires the school board to notify the public in a specific manner that the board has authorized one or more persons to go armed within a school it operates. Also, the State Board of Education unanimously approved Dr. Stephen K. Siddons to serve as the interim state superintendent. And that is the end of the report. Thank you all. Okay, item B would be student board reps. I don't believe we have any report, do we? Nope. Okay, moving on to C, district wellness policy assessment.
That's me.
Yay! Okay.
So good evening. Just some information I wanted to share with the board and with everyone tonight. The district wellness policy assessment. So you received a letter in your packet over the weekend. It's in the board meetings. Hope you had a chance to review. So in that packet, it's a letter from Olivia Stone, our student nutrition services supervisor, and she's required to do an assessment on our wellness policy. It's all part of the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which requires educational agencies that participate in the National School Lunch Program and in the school breakfast program to take part or complete this assessment. So for auditing purposes, I'm just sharing information tonight for her, so she can have it on record. She will go through this assessment in 3 years, but there's some findings I just want to kind of share with the board. There's 6 areas in the wellness policy that were evaluated. Nutrition education was 1. Second was standards for USDA child nutrition programs and school meals. 3 was nutrition standards for competitive and other foods and beverages. 4 was physical education and physical activity. 5 is wellness promotion and marketing, and 6 was implementation, evaluation, and communication. So those are the 6 areas that were evaluated. In your packet, you had an opportunity to kind of see the results and see areas of growth. You also had a chance to look at the assessment tool that was used in the process. So a couple of things just to share, some areas that we did really well in was the nutrition standards for competitive and other foods and beverages, which is the Smart Snack program that we offer, and the physical education and physical activity for our students. We also scored well in other areas. Areas that we need to improve on were nutrition education standards and the implementation, evaluation, and communication. So it's pretty much clearly spelled out in the packet that you received. The information is also on the state website, or our website, I should say, under the Business Office and Student Nutrition Services, and you'll find all the information and full-scale assessment there. So just in review, these results, we just received these results, so Mr. Stone will now take this information and start looking at ways to improve and build on those areas of our wellness policy as we move forward. And that's all I have, unless there's any questions from the board.
And John, can you comment, or, you know, I know the government just passed an extension of the free and reduced lunches. Where do we stand on that? Because we're going to be losing that for everyone pretty soon.
That is my understanding, yes.
You know, we're going to get it through the summer, we're going to have it, but not when school starts, you know,
I don't even know that we have it
anymore.
right?
Right,
Last day of
it
school.
was noted as the last day of school or June the 30th, whichever came first,
Okay.
for the summer.
Do you have comments of what we're going to do, or how we're going to handle this, and for those that may actually need it?
It goes back to,
I know if they have to qualify, but I think there are a lot, I assume there are other people using it besides those that are qualified that have been using it, let's put it that way.
we're planning to inform parents the cost of lunches, and all those applications to apply for free and reduced lunch will be available as we get ready for the school year.
And an application is based on income, correct?
And household size.
We'll be back to status quo though, you know, with the way it was before the pandemic, that's correct.
Are the supplemental programs that are run by, I know some community organizations, are those back into effect?
There are some churches and things that are do food to go and have some summer, yes.
Okay. And they work with the school counselors and staff to identify families that may not qualify but could still use the help?
And we help those even though they don't qualify? Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Rusty. Next is item 8, Treasurer's Recommendation. A, consider approving the May 2022 financial statements, monthly general fund rolling report, monthly cash reconciliation, monthly fund activity report, in and out purchase orders approved by administration, certified by the treasurer, and supported by the board resolution totaling $57,091.73. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Sauber, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Sternbach?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Consider approving the minutes of the following Board of Education meetings: May 23rd, 2022 regular meeting, and June 21st, 2022 work session. May I have a motion, please?
So moved?
Second.
Ms. Sauber, can you call the roll?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Sternbach?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Consider approving the fiscal year 2022 final certificate of established resources in the amount of, thank you, Dr. Rohr, estimated resources in the amount of $204,403,879.
So moved. Second.
Ms. Sauber, could you call the roll?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Sternbach?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Consider approving the fiscal year 2022 final appropriations in the amount of $159,723,428.
So moved.
Second.
Could I ask a question? Laura, can you explain the difference between C and D, please?
Sure, yes. So they actually work together. Letter C is a certificate of estimated resources, and it is exactly what the title says. So we're estimating our resources for the fiscal year for all of the funds that we have in the district. So general fund, our bond funds, our permanent improvement, student activities, grants, everything that we have, every source of funding that we receive. It takes a look at our beginning balance back on July 1st, and then we estimate what our resources are for the year, which are pretty close to actual at this point, but still an estimate. And that is what letter C is. That is required for audit purposes and compliance, and we submit that to the county auditor. Then letter D is basically our budget. So the appropriations is again by fund. It's the total budget for the year. And so the certificate of estimated resources in letter C has to exceed, either be equal to or exceed our appropriations. And this is just, again, it's a check for audit purposes and with the county auditor to make sure that we have enough money for the things that we're going to spend money on.
So it's safe to say that the biggest part of the difference between the 204+ million and the almost 160 million is our bond fund.
No,
No?
it's the carryover cash that we have from one year
Carry
to
over
the
balance,
next.
you know, at the end of
So-
the year. Well, we carry over to the next year.
I got you. Good, I'm glad I asked that question. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Megan.
Can I have the roll, please, Ms. Sauber?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Sternbach?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Consider approving advances, my goodness, what's wrong with me? Consider approving advances for the general fund, the following funds. All advances will be repaid to the general fund in fiscal year 2023. Should I say the number, Laura?
Want to? Sure.
507 Esser, $35,000. 512 Carl Perkins, $35,000. 590 Title II-A, $4,000. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Laura, could you call the roll, please?
Yes. Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Sternbach?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Consider approving the fiscal year 2023 temporary appropriations in the amount of $156,386,145. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second. Ms. Sauber, could you please reiterate that this is an accounting necessity for audit?
It is so we can open up the fiscal year and start spending money.
Okay, so this is
And
our,
so this is our temporary appropriations, it's our initial budget basically for the new fiscal year. It's not completely finalized yet, I'll bring that back to you in September. But you can see back and compare the amounts to letter D, it is very close. And that's what I look for, is consistency from one year to the next. If it's very different, then why? And so, yeah, so this is just to get us going for the year, and we'll have more in-depth conversations in July regarding how we ended the fiscal year with the general fund. We'll present to you the master plan, and we'll talk about, things like permanent improvements and some of our grant allocations and things like that later. But this is to get us going for the new year.
Could you call the roll, please, Ms. Sauber?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Sternbach?
yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Item number 9, superintendent recommendations. Schedule B, the superintendent recommends the change of employment status or the change of contract status for the certified personnel listed on Schedule B for the salaries, programs, and on the effective dates given. Schedule C, the superintendent recommends the employment or change of employment status for the support staff personnel listed on Schedule C for the salaries, programs, and on the effective dates given. Schedule D and D1, the superintendent recommends the employment of the personnel listed on Schedules D and D1 for supplementary contracts or extra duty assignments.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Sauber, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Sternbach?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Schedule C1, the superintendent recommends the employment or change of employment status for the support staff personnel listed on Schedule C1 for the salaries, programs, and on the effective dates given.
So moved.
Second.
Could I have the roll, please, Ms. Sauber?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Sternbach?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Abstain, please. Item number B, consider a resolution approving an agreement for the services with Montgomery County Education Service Centers for the fiscal year 2023.
So moved.
Second. Crawford, could you explain
Yes,
that a little bit?
yes. We contract with the Educational Service Center for a few specific services. Most of them are special education related. These are either for services that it's difficult for us to find staff members, or maybe we don't need a full staff member for the various services, and it's driven by basically the students that we have and the needs that they have at the time. And this is a yearly thing. This is just an authorization for us to have it deducted from our state foundation and to pay the Educational Service Center.
What was the change from last year to this year?
About 200,000,
More.
yeah, more.
Is it because our numbers have gone up or just,
Some of it, the services are a little bit more, yes, yeah, some additional services,
cost of living?
yeah.
Could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Dernbach?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Item C, consider a resolution approving the Americana Festival Community Fireworks event celebrating the 4th of July, insurance and hold harmless agreement previously discussed.
So moved.
Second.
Could you call the roll, please? Anyone's going to discuss that?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Dernbach?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Consider a resolution approving the liability insurance policy with Liberty Mutual for the 2022-2023 school year, previously discussed. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Can I have the roll, please, Ms. Hubbard?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Dernbach?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Okay. So just do that. Consider a resolution approving the updated Board of Education policies, the College Credit Plus program, the weapons visitors policy, the grant funds policy, cost principal spending federal funds policy, procedure federal grants funds for policy, use of credit cards, food service, and wellness.
So moved.
Previously discussed.
Second.
Mrs. Sparks, could we, just as the student board reps, were wondering if you could expand on 5772, the weapons for visitors. That's an issue that's really important to students right now. We're just wondering if you could expand on that new policy.
Go ahead.
Do you have a?
I do have it, yes. So in short, just in summary, in the conversations I've had with the board has reviewed the policy. We have these policies that we update, several policies tonight that we're going through, looking at those changes and update. We are in agreement as a Board of Education that we're not interested in having weapons on grounds other than through our school resource officers that are here with us. So those resource officers, as you know, we have 2 here at the high school. We have a total of 5 in the district. And really, as a summary of that policy, it is really confirming that is where we are in the stance with weapons policy. Just a brief summary of that.
Could you please call the roll, Ms. Hubbard?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Dernbach?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Item 10, final comments regarding past or old business from the Board of Education. Anyone? I know those who are in the audience and those watching at home, this seemed like we went really fast. We have our work session the week before, and we talk about all these issues, and that's the one that takes a really long time, and we ask the questions and get the answers before we vote on it, so we just don't come here and vote quickly. So,
Which everyone is invited to attend, it's open to the public.
yes, absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Rohr. Okay. May I please have a motion to adjourn?
You got it?
Second.
Ms. Sauber, could you call the roll for the last time tonight?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Dernbach?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes.
Good job.